Hello, everybody, and welcome back for another session. Blades in the Dark, Embers in the Ashes, Episode 7. Wow, we're moving later along here. I know collectively as a group, we're ready to kill some motherfuckers, so I'm going to hand it off to Nate, and we're just going to get started. So, go ahead, Nate, buddy.
I know I am. I can't wait. Oh, wait. That's not me?
Yeah.
Wait, you're supposed to be like, so they're all unarmed. They're
Yeah. I'm going to change my notes. Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Nathan. I use he, him pronouns, and I'll be your GM/narrator for this wonderful game. We are playing Blades in the Dark and going to start into our score in just a few minutes. Going to need to update just a couple things. Let's go around and say who you are and who you'll be playing, and then we'll jump right into the game. Shauna, do you want to go first? Do you mind going first?
Oh yeah. Hey, Shauna. I'm playing Miss Corbin, the party's spider manipulator, and we're gonna mess some people up today.
Sorry, mute's a powerful thing. All right, Jacob, you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. Hey, everybody, Jacob here, Duval King Jacob on the internet. Oh my God. Both Eyes and myself use he, him pronouns. And my heart is in my throat, and Eyes is very angry because they took his fucking son, and we're going to fucking blow this city up.
All right. And Hannah?
I'm Hannah. I am playing Miss Fritter tonight. Her name is Pi to her friends, which is not including any of you. And we are the cutter of the group, which means that I'm all about that violence. And certainly if there's violence against children. And that is what has transpired here. So we are ready to dismember some people. And I think that just rounds us back out to Josh, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I always go last in the intros. I don't really have to, but it's all good. Hello, my name is Saevrick, or Josh, whichever you want to call me. I use he, him pronouns, and tonight I am playing Elias Darman, aka Preacher, who is the group's whisperer.
All right. And so where we last left our group is mostly in a apartment building, or in maybe even in Fritter's apartment. They're in Six Towers. In Crowsfoot, where there was lots of information being passed back and forth. We had a downtime episode last time, and everybody was able to get a nice rest in, get some things that they needed. And then we threw the team some curveballs, and that includes the fact that the Wraiths took Joseph from Darlene, from Eyes' ex-partner Darlene. At the same time, Cass Finn from the Hive asked Miss Corbin where her true loyalties lie. If she had to choose between the group here and the Hive, what would it be? And kind of left it at that. We met a dear old friend of Miss Fritter's named Lissa of the Crows, who now leads the Crows through dubious means, and came to pay her, we'll call them respects, but I'm not sure that's actually what it was. And then lastly, we got some information on where Preacher's son, Ezekiah, is, or we think. We went through his stuff, his belongings from his apartment, which led to some knowledge that I believe Preacher was going to provide the team before they set out on this task of retrieving Ezekiah in unknown ground. But then other issues popped up, and we never quite got there. So we'll see what happens in the end. One more thing that we need to do real quick is we need to do one last bit of cleanup from last game, from the downtime. I messed something up. In the faction modes, we need to make sure we always are adjusting the factions, how our group is looking at other factions, how other factions are looking at our group. And you all tell me if I'm wrong, but I believe what we're going to do is move the Wraiths from a -1 to a -2 because of this.
Negative 10,000.
Okay, negative 10,000. We'll see if that goes in there. And then we also need to move the Crows from 0 to -1. Now they have made their intents known. Lissa has made her intent known to go after Miss Fritter. Was there anyone else? Was there any other institutions or factions that we feel like we may have interacted with during our last during our last downtime or our last score.
Does my interaction with Bazabaz change anything on the factions?
Actually, I think it does. I think if your interaction with Lissa goes down, I think yours with the Lampblacks go up.
Sweet.
Good. All right. Anything else? And if you see something later on down the road you don't understand, or we need to talk about it, or we need to make changes, that's cool too. Just want to kind of get that together. So we start. Go ahead.
Does Miss Corbin's little interaction like affect just her or the group as a whole?
Just her right now.
Okay.
We will see what happens down the road, but for right now, it's just a question for her.
Okay.
All right. Anybody else have any questions? Anything we need to update, or before we jump right in?
I don't think so.
So the group begins to plan what they're going to do, what's going to happen, and what we need to. I imagine that spies go out, questions get asked. Where are they? Where is Joseph? Where are the Wraiths? What's going on? And we come to find out the Wraiths are a pretty secretive group. Not much is known about them. They tend to go after high impact burglaries and spies. Not a very large groups, but they act independently and in small, very small cells. And then no one really knows each other. So it's one of those things that they're not out and about too much. But our story picks up with Eyes sitting in two cats, or walking maybe to two cats a day or so after, just trying to figure out what's going on. And what kind of headspace is Eyes in at this point?
He's a believer that anger gives you focus. So he's staying in that headspace as much as possible. It's probably, he didn't sleep well last night, so there's probably a little bit of bags underneath his glowing eyes. And as he's trying to figure out what move to make next.
And can you describe Eyes to us physically for the camera,
Yeah,
and maybe
for
how
sure.
how Eyes has changed during these past few weeks running with
Yeah.
the Ash Syndicate?
Yeah, of course. So super tall, lanky dude, about I want to say about 6'2" or so. Stylistically, he's pretty suave. He wears a large purple trench coat that covers up typically a purple and green suit. He's switched to kind of yellow lately, and he is kind of walking a little. He's typically walking with a lot of swagger and on a hell of a lot of confidence, but not so much lately. As he's mid 30s or so, and his nickname Eyes comes from the fact that his eyes seem to glow this dim sort of yellowish red in the dark. But instead of standing very tall, dark, handsome glass of water, he's kind of hunched over because he's still kind of hurt, both physically and emotionally, from a particular encounter before.
Absolutely. And I believe before you even get to Two Cats, you are maybe walking up there to drown your sorrows for a bit, to try to plan your next action. When the barkeep that you know and have known for a long time is standing outside, almost looking for you. As he makes eyes with you and sees you, he does the hurry like this motion. Come quick.
I kind of look around and just to ensure I haven't been followed, and give him a nod and walk in.
Okay. As you walk in, he points over to a booth, maybe that same booth that you and Darlene sat at not so very long ago, and says, "That was there when I opened up this morning. It has your name on it. I didn't look at it. I don't know what's going on. I just saw the note. I wanted to make sure that you saw it. Okay."
Yeah, thanks. I got it.
And then he discreetly vanishes and kind of moves away from everyone. And kind of, if there's any at this early hour, there's hardly anyone in here. Or if anybody at all, he kind of buys them drinks and moves them off so you can have some time. And in that booth, that well-worn, dark, faded, petrified wood booth, you find a folded note, and in it is the word "eyes" written in red.
Give a kind of a sharp sigh and open it up.
Okay. you see that the note basically tells you that it confirms your suspicion that the Wraiths have your son, that they took him and will provide him back to you unharmed in exchange for the deed to the racetrack. That you all were messing with things in over your head, and this is a light lesson. That they would like to resolve this they put professionally as possible, and would hope to do the exchange in 6 towers in a day, 2 days, something like that, whatever narrative time we need, say 2 days, at a large open fountain in the north square of 6 towers.
Fucking assholes. And I'll just get up, storm out
Okay.
with
Absolutely.
the note in hand.
All right. So,
and I'm gonna head to Miss Ritter's.
okay. Miss Ritter, did you have one of your group watch eyes?
Yes.
Okay. So I think excitedly, before Eyes can even come back, maybe there's an out of breath kid that shows up, or through whatever means of telephone that you have, that he's on his way to see you. And where do we find Miss Ritter? Where are you at this point?
What time of day is it?
It's early morning.
Early morning. And we already know that the child has been taken. He told us that last time.
He knew the child was taken as of yesterday, and now they hadn't sent in a note or anything, so now he's finally got confirmation. But this will all be information he passes along, so you can feel free to act on it.
Yeah.
So Fritter has been doing everything in her power to find the kid.
Okay.
But she could be at home at this point, waiting for some of her feelers to come back.
And what does the camera see when the camera pans to Miss Fritter?
She has not slept, and she sits at her kitchen table sharpening a knife in full tactical gear.
Okay, thank you. So, Eyes, you're able to make it back. Miss Fritter, I think that one of your runners comes in just a few minutes before Eyes does, tell you that somebody dropped off a note that Eyes is on their way to see you, and basically to get ready, which you already are, of course, but just to kind of let you know that, he's coming to you. Where do we find our other two colleagues? Preacher or Miss Corbin? Who wants to go next? Where are you at?
I would probably be downstairs in the same bloody room that I had the first time we started this adventure. Probably looking over this notebook that I had, or that had been given to me. I guess we'll say. My shoulders are probably slacked because I'm also feeling somewhat responsible for Eyes' son, because I'm part of the same group. So I've got that feeling of letting down my own son and letting down him at the same time. So I'm sort of reading this like haphazardly, trying to understand and to remember it, but it's like reading a paragraph over and over and over again, where you're definitely reading it, but you're not comprehending exactly what's going on.
We also left Preacher with an open notebook that had a certain name that he was able to finally make out at the end of last episode. Who was that?
Satara, if I remember correctly. Satara.
Yep, Satara. Yep, Satara. Yep. And what is Satara? Who is Satara?
Satara is a demon.
That's absolutely correct.
One that I've had run-ins with in the past.
Run-ins. That's a good word for it.
Yeah. It's lived inside of me would probably be a more accurate term. And one that's moved on beyond my vessel and into the vessel of my child.
Okay.
And I've known it all along. so it's not really surprising to me when I see this name. But it brings back a lot of familiarity. That feeling of power and the wanton lust of destruction. Things that Preacher has tried to abandon from his life since then. That's why he took the shot in the knees for the two people. We were taking over the drug den because he refused to take another life. But all he can think about right now is that want to take another.
Okay, thank you. So, Miss Corbin, you, during all of this, while your compatriots were busy thinking about whatever was going on in their personal lives, Miss Corbin was focused on something different. What were you focused on?
She's focused on basically what's ahead. Meetings she has to take, people she has to meet with to make sure once this business is taken care of, we have a certain amount of upper mobility and can maintain it.
So where do we find Miss Corbin right now?
Miss Corbin's in her office. It's really the only lived-in part of her apartment. It's bare, except for her books. She is dedicated to this lifestyle 100%. She gets up, she keeps track of everything, makes sure she has her books. She goes downstairs where she has in the basement a dummy and just practices her shot with her concealed pistol, making sure she's not as rusty as she was last time. We should get that practice in.
Absolutely. What does the camera see as Mrs. Corbin is taking shot after shot with that small Derringer pistol toward this dummy? What does the camera see? The look in her eyes. What do we see?
It's cold. It's almost as if like she's just staring straight ahead at it. Like she's not letting any hint of anything. Like she keeps everything balled up pretty tight. And everything's just business.
Okay. So as you make it to Miss Ritter's apartment, you're able to fill her in on the information, and you all start planning. I'm assuming that at the same point in time that Preacher and Miss Corbin are either come back or contacted to let them know, hey, we finally know what's going on. We're going to spend the next few minutes talking about gather information. And how so you know it's the Wraiths, you know that where they're going to meet at. Do you have questions that you want answered before we move into the engagement role?
I'll actually just kind of like have the note in my hand. I just want to make something before we get into information gathering and discussing what our next move is here. There's no doubt in my mind what the right decision is, because to be frank, I don't care at all about this track at all. It would be easy to do this. It'd be easy to do the right decision. I don't want to do the right decision. We're not doing the right decision. I want to wipe them off the face of the fucking earth.
That is the right decision.
So, Ms. Fritter, any information that you might have? Because around this particular meetup spot, perhaps, any place that we could not necessarily stock up, but get us, surprise on them or anything like that?
Nathan.
Yes.
What can I find
All right,
out.
so everyone can roll. You can gather information any way you basically want to. You can do this physically through some kind of either one of the physical attributes, and you can go there. You could talk to someone and ask questions. Basically, whatever attribute you want to use to gather information. The higher the roll, the more information I can give you, depending on what your question is. So, if you have a specific question in mind, that's great. If you don't, let's get the specific questions out there, and then I can just give you some general information at the end. So if you don't have a specific question, still fine. But let's get, if you have a specific question like you do in this case, hey, what are the buildings like around this thing? Or is there a place where we can go? Also, narratively wise, if there's something that we want to talk about, and like I don't know all the buildings around this place, if you get good enough, you find what you're seeking, that kind of stuff too. Okay.
Got it.
So what would Ms. Fritter do to find out this information?
So, in typical Miss Fritter fashion, she will walk through Charter Hall to get to Six Towers. And while she's walking on like the straight path, she has her runners that are effectively going on all of the side streets that are making the same journey she is. But they're able to observe more of the response or reactiveness to Miss Fritter being present there. And so she's not so much going and asking tons of questions as much as making kind of a walk through Six Towers and anyone that she sees that she knows, which is probably quite a few people.
Absolutely.
So
what are we going to call that?
I think she's...
Is this prowl?
This is...
That's prowl about unseen or diverse obstacles. That's probably not it, is it? I mean, I could see it being study, survey.
Study and survey, or honestly, hunt.
Hunt? Okay, yeah, absolutely. Because you're looking for a specific target of what you're looking for. Absolutely. Yeah, that's a good one.
I'm looking for anyone that I know would be affiliated or is affiliated with the Wraiths.
Okay.
And any evidence of a child being kept somewhere.
Absolutely. And you're going to get a +1 die because you're using your kid squad. So this is going to be risky and standard at this point. It's just a standard roll because it's information.
Let's see, 3 and 3.
3.
It's not good. Don't like this roll 20.
So if you look on the map, what I'm looking at, Six Towers is along the eastern side of Duskwall, and it is actually pretty long. It flows north to Brightstone, all the way south to where Night Market hits, and kind of wraps around the eastmost curve of Duskwall. The place where they suggested where the fountain is in a small roundabout square. Is on our map. It's by the R in Six Towers. You'll see it's a large open area, and it's actually a set of fountains that where you thought maybe one fountain, it's actually 20-30 feet across, and it's a set of fountains that the nobles used almost like statuettes to themselves and to their families. So it's half of these are toppled over, half of them don't look good, but there's still a bunch that are up there. So it's still a jumbled mess up there. It's also probably 4 or 5 feet off the ground. As you look in the buildings around you, a lot of these buildings in the northern part have actually been taken over as apartments. So you're not able to really get in and take a look at them. Your scouts tell you that there are some buildings to the south and to the east that are empty. There are some places where they found good spots. So if you want to use as a flashback, anything to do later on, you can find those, but it's just you're not going to find much.
Alrighty.
All right. Who's next? Somebody else have another specific question?
I'm actually want to know more about the meetup location, any blind spots, I'll start with that.
Okay.
And I'm going to reach out to, I forgot the name of the other bar, but Clara is my information merchant.
Okay.
We found her in the harping monkey,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll kind of make my way over there and try to find out some information. And then on top of that, if there's any information about like known Wraith contacts, that would be helpful.
Okay,
too.
absolutely. So what are you using to gather this information?
I would like to sway, and I
right.
will also toss as many coins as
So you're going to get a +1 for using an NPC already, so you don't have to
Mhm.
need a coin.
Okay. Cool.
And go risky and standard.
Risky
swing, let's see what we get.
standard +1 dice. Go.
And where is Clara?
5.
Where is that? This bar? Have you set it in a location?
Yep. Yeah. It's a tavern in the night market.
Okay, in night market.
The
Okay.
The harping monkey. It's
So
kind of like
Clara-
the.
No,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead, please.
Yeah, it's like the exact opposite. Like where the Two Cats is like a very chill, like cocktail lounge. The Harping Monkey is a bit more of the party atmosphere. That's kind of where I go to do a little more of the vice stuff. And it's great for impromptu, stealthy conversations because it's so loud.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just writing all that down.
Sure.
So Clara sees the look in your eye before you even get to it. You probably pours a drink and then moves over to a location, to a booth type area. Maybe it's cordoned off with thick carpets and rugs all around, so you can't really hear or see anything. It kind of the music in the central area is loud enough to where it covers up anything. And they say, you look like shit.
Yep. It's been a couple days of very very angry situations that I'm about to resolve, which is why I'm here. So
What's up?
How familiar are you with I forgot the name of the fountain already, sorry. I had it in my notes too.
I don't even know if we gave it a name.
No.
Well, we name whatever you want.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I could, just because I think it's funny and it's a Duval joke. We're calling it Friendship Fountain.
Friendship Fountain. Okay.
Right next to the Museum of Science and History in Jacksonville, Florida. Anyway, so yes, so it's Friendship Fountain in Six Towers. Can you?
Yeah, Clara looks, goes, yeah, that's north of there in Six Towers. It used to be the place where all the nobles would gather and like meet each other and have their little snacks and things like that when all of them lived there. Big well-to-do people, the top whatever of who you were in Six Towers, were like had their own fountains and had their own statues. It was basically full of self-importance. Now it's a jumbled mess of graffiti strewn and broken down fountains and statues north there. There's not much going on. I know there's a bunch of apartments and stuff like that around there, but the fountains don't work, and it's just kind of a little seedy area. What do you got to do something up there?
Yeah, manner of speaking.
If
someone has something I want or need back.
Yeah.
And they may or may not want to meet there, but I need to catch them a bit off guard and take what I need from them.
Yeah.
Where would I do that from?
You got a 5.
Mm-hmm.
Clara says, I heard, and I don't know this for a fact, I heard the fountain has a false bottom at somewhere. Like you can get in from the outside, and that's like where the water was, or like the water all went down inside there, and then when they left, that all the clay piping and all that crap kind of left. So supposedly there's a way to get in. I don't know how though. You'd have to find it, but I hear that like inside there is ways that you can like get around underneath the fountain floor.
All right, that's a start. Any known Wraithian contacts that I can chat with?
No, the wraiths contact you when they have something you want. You don't contact them.
Yeah.
I don't even know that they know each other. Like, it's weird. You got to be super weird to be wraith.
Yeah.
They go by code names and it's weird.
And I kind of like take out like my trench coat and kind of adjust it, stand up. Well, I don't think we'll have to worry about that much longer. Thanks for the
All
drink.
right. No problem. All right, Miss Corbin and Preacher, who wants to go next?
Oh, I guess I can go.
Yep.
I'm gonna go see Salia, my information broker in
Okay.
Night Market.
Okay. And where is Salia?
Salia is on the other side of town, but kind of out of the way, quiet. It's lost in the more upper scale aspects of Night Market. It's like a hole in the wall office.
Okay. Absolutely.
It takes private meetings.
Yeah, there's there's no name on the office. There's no sign or anything. All around it are basically the Las Vegas lights, lights and trying to attract people. And then there's just a plain door with nothing else. And if you don't know, then you would pass it right by. But Miss Corbin absolutely knows. Clara's there and sees you at the door. I'm assuming that you've probably made a time to arrange with them, and come in, and they meet you down at the bottom and open up and kind of walk up the stairs into another floor and say, come on up, please.
All right.
Are you still doing tea? No tea? Coffee? What is your preference?
Tea is perfectly fine.
That's what
the usual stuff I like. Yeah.
Okay. And you see that she already has a cup ready to be poured when you walk in. I just wanted to check. Things change and people change.
Oh, yes.
You never know.
That's why I am here.
Pours you a cup of tea. Well, kind of sits down. What can I help you with?
Oh, I'm not going to pretend that you don't know what's going on with the wraiths.
Yes. Who stuck whose foot where? That's what I'm wondering.
No, I think they did.
Did they? Okay.
Oh. Because extortion and, well, the type of kidnapping and property was never their motive. I want to know why this has things happened to change their methods. What's going on with them since we crippled that auction?
Okay. And let's go ahead and roll something and see what Clara knows.
What's Salia?
Oh, Sally. Dang it.
Yep.
Clara was the other one.
Clara's the other one.
Double Clara.
All right, so just consort.
If that's what you want to use, go ahead and you'll be adding 1 because you're using a named NPC.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
5. All right. So Sally takes a swig of their tea and sits it down, kind of looks around and takes a deep breath and says, the wraiths are secretive, you know this. This is not their style, which means they don't plan on holding the track for very long, if at all. The sources say that the little rodent that used to run the track is still running around here loose somewhere.
Yes, unfortunately.
I believe therein lies your answer.
Oh, they must be desperate.
Well, I don't think they were before, but you realize the art hit, the hit on their auction was pretty damning. You got 4 large scale items and made their buyers spook to come back to them anymore. They have changed. At least this section of the race has changed.
Well, we weren't the ones that stole from the Leviathan hunters to start with, so that was theirs.
Oh, I agree. I'm not saying that they didn't deserve it or that that this isn't all warranted. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just telling you that when one avenue of money making and goes away, you have to go to another one. And I believe they were promised a tidy sum to get this track back.
Well, that's very useful. Thank you. I know how hard it is to find information. I know how secretive. Otherwise, I would have asked where their safe houses were, but no one seems to know.
Exactly. Not even they know all of them. Also, be careful. I don't believe the wraiths like to play nicely.
I appreciate it, but neither do I. So
I agree. I might be telling them the same thing if they were sitting in your place. Extortion, such a nasty business when you get to kidnapping.
well, if you do it right, it works. But reckless.
Correct. And I think maybe spend some more time just talking on other matters, both private and public, and what's going on, gossiping, and what's happening
Yeah,
with getting information about what's going on with other people,
Mhm.
and just maybe you two are also just able to talk to each other, like you're in the same type of business.
Yeah.
So you're able to, without naming names and dropping things, you see someone who is, maybe you see someone who, or let me say this. Not Clara. What?
Salia.
Salia sees someone in Miss Corbin who she enjoys talking with, enjoys hanging out with, and knows what it's like to be in this business.
And I think Miss Corbin thinks the same. It takes a lot to cultivate that kind of relationship and trust for information. So
absolutely,
you have to cherish it and kind of enjoy it where it happens.
Absolutely. All right, Preacher, are you doing anything?
Well, I'm not so good with talking with the living. A little bit more comfortable with talking with the dead.
Okay.
So, I think I'd like to go to this little fountain area that they have all laid out for us. Maybe reach out, because while the living might not whisper to each other, maybe the dead can overhear what they say in their quiet spaces.
Absolutely.
So maybe someone's slipped something about being associated with this group, or someone a little bit higher ranking. And also for our own safety, because I know very well that there's a particular set of ghosts that inhabit Six Towers, and I want to make sure that we're not in the midst of them currently in this situation.
Okay.
So
is this an attune?
It will be an attune.
All right. And then if you're using your fine spirit mask or your new mask, it's a +1.
Okay, I'll definitely use. Well, I'll have to use my new one because I don't think my old one works anymore, if I remember correctly.
Oh yes, if I remember correctly. Yep, you're right.
Wow. That was terrible. I mean, it still passed, but.
So I think the problem lies in this. You got a 4 or 5, so that's still a success.
Mm-hmm.
You're able to call spirits around you. There's just not that many. Not too many people live here, and the ones that it takes Preacher a while to sort through and talk through these spirits that come to him for aid or help or assistance. And so a lot of people asking for better living conditions, or can you help with this? Can you check on my family? Can you do that before you reach one that is an older spirit that is tied not to the places but to the fountain itself. And that spirit's able to show you they can't communicate anymore. They're trying to still stay sentient, but they're fighting it. So you see it in flashes through their eyes with the mask. You actually see flashes of someone that looks like they would be part of the wraiths coming to the fountain, walking around the fountain, pointing up at different locations around them and at different buildings around them. And it gets you a feeling that they have definitely been there and scouted it out. And there are several of them there. And they may have advanced lookouts or positions of height that they are of interest.
Very interesting. I get no sense that the damned are around us, or around me, I should say, at least.
No, not at this point.
But not a great swell of spirits here either.
No, nothing like that. You don't. It seems pretty. It seems pretty empty, especially the streets, because there's just not too many people out. It seems to be a more deserted area, whereas you're used to the hustle and bustle like you would in a major city. This feels like the downtown of a smaller city. There's people, but they're not. It's not crowded and cramped and all around you. And that's the same thing with the spirits. But also no specific what you would consider to watch out for. No malevolence that is actively hunting you or searching for you or anything.
Right. So we got some ideas at least where their little watch out groups might be.
Absolutely.
So that's something to know at least.
All right. Anybody else want to do anything before we start?
I'm kind of curious, Miss Corbin. You have some contacts within the Blue Coats, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Some, but our recent activities make that a little more difficult to procure their services.
You think perhaps if we, I don't know, wax their palms a little bit, they might be a little bit more forgiving? Maybe a little bit more helpful?
Well, if it comes to it, we can arrange something, but I don't think we need to get them involved.
Well, my idea was to make a net around the whole situation, because I'm pretty sure Eyes feels the same way that we do. I don't want these motherfuckers escaping anywhere.
Escaping anywhere, but have you had the thought that this is a lure in some way?
Absolutely, this is going to be a trap for us.
Oh, not a trap for us to leave the house unguarded.
I see what you're saying, yes. I'm sure we can come up with watchdogs, so to say, that might protect the house while we're gone.
Make sure it's at the very top before we leave. Because what they want is... I don't think they care very much about what happens to us. They want the property. Not for them.
Just not with us.
And what if we
just have it?
What if we just set the whole fucking thing on fire?
Oh, it's so useful. All of our contacts come here. It's prestige. Standing within the night market.
Well, maybe we should make some sort of contingency if for some reason that none of us leave this situation, that there won't be a dog track for them to come back to.
So speaking of that, we spoke last time about you all just went up to level and were able to get a secure hideout and vault. Where is this? Is this at the track now? Is this somewhere around Night Market? Or is it somewhere else completely?
I think it would make sense to be underneath the ground at the track, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if I want to track, because we bring a lot of people there. Too many people get brought there, I think.
Okay.
Too much public comes there as well. I think that would not be wise.
I kind of thought it would be cool if it was one of the mausoleums at the cemetery.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right. That's cool.
I do like that. I like that.
Okay. And you have the underground passages and maps, which would easily lead you to the older parts of Night Market, which would lead you to where the mausoleums are and the secret crypts. Okay. Just writing that down.
Yeah, and I'll share with everyone the information I found from Clyra. I don't know.
Absolutely, yeah. Everybody share the information. So
yeah. Okay, cool.
I mean, let's use. So I am always like this. Mm-hmm. I assume that everyone's sharing everything unless you tell me I am not sharing this. Then if a character says I'm not sharing that, then we're all going to act like, hey, that was never shared. But otherwise, just for sake of information, I think it's just easier to be like, yeah, we all share. So that's cool.
Okay, cool. Got it.
All right, so let's do the engagement roll. Again,
before we leave?
Yep.
Can I send a note to Bazabaz and just kind of cluing him in as to what is happening?
Absolutely.
With a subtle reminder of what the Wraiths did that kind of instigated everything.
Absolutely.
Just in the event that he wants to alert other people who might be interested into the raids.
And remember, you always have the ability to do flashbacks and bring in other people, other things, or any plans that we make along the way. But absolutely.
Sweet.
Okay. One of your runners run off as you I see this like the scene from Gangs of New York, as the gangs are together. They all meet up, and you're walking down the street. You walk up wherever you met. If you met it in Crowsfoot at Miss Fritter's, or if you met in the night market, you're still going to go up through Charter Hall, and then up around Six Towers is a main passageway that you're walking down the middle of the street. And I definitely think it's a combination of Gangs of New York and Tombstone in the OK Corral scene, whereas as citizens see business, they get to moving the other way. So let's all make sure that we are. So we're going to I asked the gang before. Let's play our home game. That our gang here is going with an assault mode. Everyone, make sure that you choose the load that you're going to be picking for the night. 3 light, 5 normal, 6 heavy, and this will be the boxes you get to choose along with the equipment that you need whenever you need it.
Heavy AF.
Yeah, heavy seems to fit for what you all want to do, unless you just want to tell me. So again, this feels like a heavy action. If you tell me that you don't, but you want to make a run, or you want to do something physically that would allow you to do something easier because you have less weight, I would give you an extra die. So that would be a reason not to. But other than that, you're good to go. Okay. All right, so I'm about to roll the only time I actually rolled during this whole entire wonderful session, and that is the engagement rolls, where we find our players at the very start of this. I think the camera pans from them walking down the street and then cuts to a shot with the fountains in the background and coming up over our party as they look into the fountains. People seem to be milling in the streets a little bit, but you can definitely see shadows of people flitting around the fountains. And there's one sitting on the edge of the fountain with their legs dangling in front of them, almost like they're sitting like you would, just kind of waiting for something to happen. So we're going to roll. We're going to do 1 die for fortune, for general fortune. We're going to do another die. Operation is particularly bold or daring. I would say taking on the wraiths, headlong collision when they have the upper hand on the ground is absolutely that. Does the plan's detail expose a vulnerability to the target? Hit them where they're the weakest. I do believe you've gathered enough information. You know about both the upper places that they might be hiding and the underground passage there underneath the actual fountain. I think that's 3. Friends and contacts provide 8 or insight. Absolutely. You've all done that. So I think that's 4. Target is a lower tier. Target is actually a higher tier. So we're going to go down to 3. And district modifiers. This is happening in 6 towers. So you do not get your extra die for that. So it's going to be 3 die.
Got it.
All right, here we go. We're going to roll 3d6s. A 5, a 2, and a 1. So you're going to start off in a risky position. So I think what happens is you all walk up and it's dark. There's lanterns that are kind of ringed around the outside of this roundabout, so to speak. And just a few of them are lit. And as this figure sees you walking toward them, they're a tall, dressed in all gray, wearing a mask that covers their entire face. Tears drip down the side of one of the cheeks on the mask, and in the side on the other side you would read, once you get closer, it actually says Slate on it. When they see you coming, they make the motion like this, and what's weird is they snap their fingers, and the crowd around them starts to dissipate and move and go. So slowly, before your very eyes, you see people leaving more and more and more. And as they leave, the lights, the unlit lanterns that are around the outside of this roundabout start to flare. And it gets pretty bright. For Duval, this is pretty bright as you look down on this middle fountain area that's probably 20, 25 feet across. And there's this lone figure with their legs dangling over the side.
Oh, theatrical. All this for us. Oh, we shouldn't have.
You hear him say, well, the end of every play has to have some theatrics, don't you believe, Miss Corbin?
It makes things fun.
I agree.
So, what kind of play is it? Tragedy, comedy, for who, I wonder?
I don't know that I much care.
Oh, you
Well,
should care.
As long as it's profitable, that's the only kind of play I actually care for.
Where is he?
He looks at you and says, ah, the doting father, I presume.
Where is he?
He's here. And he kind of looks down, and you see behind him is a figure sitting down or kneeling or something like that on the ground. There's not much light there on the actual platform. All the light is where you all are and around, but you can see the figure is kind of sitting. Quick question for Eyes. What is your last memory of Joseph?
Well, before things went belly the fuck up, his mind kind of flashes back to a time a few years ago where you kind of hear "Push me, Daddy" as I push him on a swing set at our favorite park.
Awesome. He says he's here and fine. We don't harm children unless you make us, but we don't do that normally.
That doesn't answer where. I will not ask again.
He looks down at the figure and says, right there.
I look down to meet his gaze and what am I looking at?
At his feet, again, he is probably 5 feet up on this pedestal. So he stands up and then looks down behind maybe some crumpled over or junked up monuments, like some legs that are still sitting there and some things that are kind of sitting. You do see a huddled figure sitting behind one of these small statues. So you can see the figure. The figure isn't moving, but it seems to be sitting up.
I go to walk over.
He says, okay, far enough. Where's the deed? What is everyone else doing?
Side note, who actually has the deed right now?
I assumed Miss Corbin has it.
I had assumed that as well, but then
I had assumed we didn't bring it at all because we knew what we were going to do to come here,
Right. Okay.
But point of order, I'd like to flash back.
There we go.
And create a forgery of it.
Absolutely. All right. So who is doing this? Are you doing it? Having it done?
Absolutely.
Okay. So are you personally doing this?
Let's see.
Do you have? I believe you have the ability to do forgery. So you have subterfuge supplies. If you ready for a forger's hand.
Yep.
If you want to personally do it, then go ahead and make that mark.
Okay. You know what? Sure. What would I roll for this, or is it just a thing?
I believe. Well, you tell me. Is it study, finesse?
Yeah. Considering it's kind of sleight of hand in a way,
it's
I'll say finesse.
Yeah, because I mean, you could do it either one. You could study the writing and know how to do it, or you could physically take up another piece of paper, slap it on top, and finesse it. I see it either way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
I remember you can always push yourself, or
I'm definitely going to, considering the ramifications of the situation, to give myself an extra dice. So risky.
So because your first roll will always be what the engagement roll was. This is risky.
Okay, great. And then 1 die extra. Here we go.
6. All right. You have what appears to be everyone in your group as a perfectly readable, a copy that works out well.
Just kind of, it's like the large like almost yellowish piece of parchment.
He says, this man is Slate, so I'm just going to call him by his name from now on. Slate says, you won't mind if I have my associate review that real quick, do you?
Considering all I see is this crumpled over figure that you say is my son, and I haven't seen him, we're going to start there first.
Understand. He looks down and says, boy, can you stand up, please? And the little figure stands up and turns around. What does Joseph look like?
Joseph is he's about at this point about 6 years old, dark skin like myself, and kind of has this like very curly jet black hair. Typically is I don't know what he's wearing now, but I'd say he was his favorite color is yellow, so he'd always wear like these like long sleeve like yellow shirt and trousers, purple trousers.
He turns around and they're in the dark pretty much, but he sees you in the light. He says, Daddy, you're back.
Hey, little man.
Am I coming home with you?
I think we're going to try that. Yeah.
Slate looks down and says, yes, all in good time, my friend. All in good time. Can you have a seat for me again, dear boy? And
No,
Joseph probably... Go ahead.
Need.
No? Joseph says, he looks at Slade and goes, no, my daddy said I don't have to.
Matter of fact, my little man, I want you to run over here.
All right, let's... I'll let this be in your hands. I won't roll the die. What is this? What attribute are you using to get to have him do that?
Joseph?
Mm-hmm.
I want to roll a die against my own kid. It's so crazy.
No. This is not rolling. So let me make it clear. This is rolling for his ability to do this. He just doesn't have a character sheet, so we're going to use your abilities. You're not rolling against him, and I don't want to roll against the kid either. So that's why I'm not rolling a die.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I could roll a fortune just to see what happens. I don't want to do that. Yeah. So you're rolling just to use basically your abilities instead of for your kid. Yeah. With this, or so you could do something physical. Or I could see you commanding, consorting. What are you?
I'm essentially like I'm just kind of calling him over like any dad would be come on, it's time to wash the dishes or
if you want to roll a fortune roll, I'm fine with it too.
Yeah, I was gonna do like something or like sway or something, up to you.
I don't think it's sway. I think it's consort, if anything.
Oh, really?
Consort connections from your heritage, background, friends, or rivals.
Got it. All right, cool. Let's do it. I'll push here too. Well, I guess he's.
You can push.
So crazy.
No, but still, what's in your voice will inflect this meaning upon him.
It is very soft. Oh no. That's not good.
See, I don't feel bad now. I didn't do it. So I think Slate, as soon as you go to do that, Slate kind of steps in front of him and goes and says, No. You can't go anywhere yet. And Joseph looks up and and looks down and there's a manacle on his foot. And he kind of looks down and like makes the motion at his foot. It's like, I can't go anywhere.
Okay, you're doing great. We're almost done.
So what is everyone else doing?
Miss Corbin is just looking around. She's trying to assess the background, everything around.
Okay.
Roofs, that sort of thing.
So what are you going to do to do that? What attribute are you going to use to do that?
I think she's going to do a survey.
Okay. Absolutely. It sounds great. So survey is survey a location or situation, understand what's going on, sense trouble before it happens. That kind of sounds right. Yeah. All right. Push yourself, Devil's Bargain.
I kind of want to hear what Devil's Bar. I'm curious.
The Devil's Bargain will be this. It takes a second to really look around at everything. Even when the action starts, Miss Corbin may want to figure out where everything is coming from. So you would drop out of the first round of action.
I will take that.
Okay.
Standard.
Risky standard, yes. This would be your
Okay.
first roll, so everybody rolls risky the first one.
Risky standard. Okay.
Remember, you can always change the effect of anything to go up to desperate if you want more XP or if we want to make something else happen. You're always more welcome to do that.
All right. No, I'll take that. Let's see what we have. 6.
6.
Nice.
Ms. Corbin, you realize as you look that they have basically rung you all in light. That the light was made for you so you all could be seen.
Mm-hmm.
And as you look up, you think you see movement on a couple of rooftops or from within maybe balcony areas on some higher up on a couple of apartment buildings. And you think you hear noise behind you coming out of maybe one of the buildings or the alleyways of some movement.
All right.
Preacher?
Could I play off that a little bit?
Absolutely.
Like I think you see Miss Corbin like
Yeah.
dark, like her eyes
So we
looking
have
around.
this ring around us of light.
Mm-hmm.
And is this like the Leviathan lamps, the lamp oil sort of things?
Yep. Oh yeah, this is absolutely electroplasm. And you think they've even been pushed. You don't normally see lights this bright. They don't usually go this bright. So they've been pushed to give off more light and clearly show your all's position.
Maybe we'll try to overload them then. How's that sound?
I think that sounds freaking wonderful.
Let's take my Tempest ability, and I'm just
Okay.
going to like reach out like fucking Storm from the X-Men and just like zap these lights all at once.
Okay.
Just so it'll be
Absolutely.
like my flip
Game.
the switch moment.
Me-
So I would see him just lift his hands up, and the paleness washes over his eyes as like smoke pours from his sleeves, and this electricity like fucking Palpatine starts just arcing out from his fingertips.
All right. So that's 2 to push yourself to do this.
Absolutely.
And then what attribute are you going to use to see how much you're able to get?
Okay, let's see.
Is this a tinker? I'm not sure if you have any tinker, but tinker is tinker with mechanisms to create, modify, disable, or repair. Is this a wreck?
2 maybe.
That's something else I don't have any points in.
Oh.
I'm not a fighter, I tell you.
Is this study? Maybe for some reason you have studied how these lights are working and understand that if you overload them, they'll shatter.
That would probably make a hell of a lot more sense than anything I'm going to come up with right now.
Okay. And you can't have a devil's bargain because you've already pushed yourself.
Okay.
Remember, everyone can give assist as well, or do setup actions. Those are always things that you can
I
have.
will give him an assist.
I have 1 dot, so if
Can I-
anyone wants to assist me, I'm not.
Yeah,
going
it
to
sounds like
that.
You just got one from Miss Corbin. So, Miss Corbin, how do you assist? What are you doing?
That was definitely
Wasn't
me,
that-
my dude.
Yep. I was like, yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
wait, that was
Shit!
different.
I was sitting there looking at you. Sorry, my bad. Miss Fritter, how do you assist? God.
How would I assist you right now? What I previously had given him,
Plans of some kind, maybe,
yeah, I
or
was
yeah,
gonna say some kind of schematic. But
Absolutely.
Sure.
absolutely.
Can just to add some flavor to it,
Yep.
for like a setup action perspective, kind of like a now is I want to take a throwing knife and I want to, because I'm wanting to separate my son in that shackle, and like that's kind of what gives Preacher the go ahead.
Okay.
So I don't know which would be better, but I either I think because it will probably scare Joseph less. I want to use like a throwing knife and kind of.
You want to have the throwing knife out, or you want to throw the knife?
I want to throw the knife at to try to like if it's enough force to separate the shackles.
Right. Okay.
Oh shit.
All right.
That was my thought too. I was like, oh, shit.
Sounds good. So let us do this. This is going to be desperate. You're throwing a knife this close to your son. This is going to be desperate and with limited effect. You're aiming at a small piece of metal very close to the ground. Doesn't mean you can't. It just means that right now you are desperate and the effect is limited. So you can always push something to get better effect. You can always get an assist for better effect, or if you have fine, like a fine dagger or fine something like that, that would give it better effect.
Got it. And to kind of buy like a beat of time, I will actually give him the fake thingy.
Okay. So here's what happens. At the same time that Preacher, you start to see the smoke come emanating from Preacher, and you know what's going to happen. You all have already planned. This has already been planned. This is going to happen. You step forward, and Slate looks down and goes and tells and says something to the side and says, "Come check it out and see if it's okay." And Vryn walks around the side of the fountain.
Oh, that's terrible.
And he says, "I'll take a look at that." And at that time, our pyrotechnics go off.
Okay. So I'm rolling one bonus die still, I'm assuming?
You're rolling one bonus die, yes.
Okay, I also have actions that I would like to do, but I do realize that we have to resolve these things first.
Okay, so absolutely. These are all going to happen around the same time. Okay. It's that magical special movie moment where everyone knows exactly when those are going to happen. And at the same time, Miss Corbin is picking out, the camera would show her picking out places where people are standing above and watching.
Okay.
Was that your...
Yeah.
Is that your roll?
That's rough.
Can I fight that?
So you can resist consequences.
Yeah.
But you can't resist failure.
Damn it.
And what happens is...
Oh boy.
See, I always set myself up for these cool fucking like narrative moments. And I always fail them every time.
I think what happens is you do shoot electricity into the lights, but it just literally makes everything brighter there. And it also lights up lights. Like it runs, you see the arcing electricity run into those lights and run down the wires and all the tubes and everything is hooked. And it seriously just starts popping up lights inside of these buildings around you, and lights start bursting inside these buildings, and you hear people start to yell, and as lights, as basically like the breakers being flashed inside these lights, and all these lights are going off, pop, 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 pop. All right, at the same time, Eyes hands over the deed with one hand, and with the other hand flicks out a knife, and in a quick throwing motion flings a knife to try to release his son from his bonds.
Yeah. So dumb. I can't wait. This is crazy.
Do you have a fine blade?
Or
a fine weapon that you can use?
I have like 6 small like throwing knives.
I mean, mechanically in your inventory, do you have a fine blade?
No, I don't think so.
What is the first 2 things underneath your inventory there?
The underneath items.
Yes.
Like from a weaponry perspective, of cane swords and stuff.
Okay.
And then pistols and things.
Okay. Because if you use fine, then you can use that for upper effect. That's why I'm trying to think of something for you.
Yeah. Well, what if I use my special knife? Because why not?
Absolutely. That would do a fine one as well.
All right. And what would this be? Would this be because like it's not like backstabbing someone?
No.
It's not really skirmish either. So, which I have nothing in. So that would be dumb.
So hunt.
Sleight of hand.
Oh, sleight of hand. That's sleight of hand is finesse.
Mm-hmm.
Finesse, 9% of the pocket, employ subtle measure, sleight of hand, handle a vehicle mount. I think because you're not going at a person, you're going at an inanimate object.
Mhm.
I'm cool with finesse. Yeah, I think
Okay.
that'd make a cool moment.
Cool.
All right. So are you using
desperate.
using the fine from your dagger to go up a die or up effect?
I'm gonna say, ooh, that's a tough call.
Yes.
Because I would like to make sure that if it hits, that it's almost guaranteed separation.
So up effect. So go up effect
Yep.
to basically it's desperate and standard now.
Yep. Okay. And then 1 bonus dice, or 0 bonus dice.
No, there will not be. If you
Okay.
use it for an
Okay.
upper effect, you don't get it for the
Okay.
die.
Okay, that's the difference. Okay, got it. Here we go. 5.
5. So you don't. What happens is it ends up striking the metal and shearing it, but something falls, like one of the monuments or something falls close to him and kind of traps him in an area. He can still get out, but he just can't run right now. So tell us what happens.
Okay. So yeah. Okay. So he's like kind of like pinned under, like it's kind of like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, either that or like it's pinned to like his the cuff of his pants or something like that. Something he's gonna take have to take a minute to like pull out of and
Okay.
get out.
Got it. I will just and tell him to kind of run. I'll kind of yell at him.
Yeah.
It's like, go. I'll find you. I'll just grow. Daddy's got this.
So there, about that same time that you look over and tell your son to go, what you don't see is Slate take a gun
Yep.
out from behind his back, point blank, and fire on you.
Yeah, sure.
So it's going to be level 2 harm.
Mm-hmm.
You can resist it if you would like to.
Yeah.
Or you can have armor.
Yeah, I'm taking armor.
Okay. So tell us what happens with that.
So I yell and I'll gun kind of fire and explosion of gunpowder and like kind of hits me in the side and I kind of spin. You kind of hear me just kind of like grimace in pain, and then I will take out my cane sword to engage with the gentleman. But I'm also keeping an eye out on my favorite customer
Absolutely.
nearby.
Absolutely. So, Miss Fritter, all this has happened around you. Miss Corbin is still noting where people are and what's going on around you all. What are you doing? You see Vryn in front of you. You see Slate up on this a dais, so to speak, the fountain dais, and you hear behind you. You hear movement of maybe people coming out from behind one of the other buildings around you.
Miss Fritter, upon seeing Vryn appear and the gunshot and the child and all of that happening, she's going to kind of go behind Jason and the way I imagine this is that like Jason and Slate are in front of each other.
Yep.
And then to the side is Vryn.
Vryn, yep.
And she's going to kind of come around Jason, and Vryn, who's now looking at this deed, she's going to take her meat tenderizer that has been sharpened, and she's going to not just like hit his head, but like try to whack his head into the fountain that Slate is standing on.
Is this, you're trying to do this to Vryn?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. So yeah, you come up behind Eyes, and basically take a swing that they would never even see. That Vryn is got his head down in this document. So you're actually going to get a +1 die.
This is with the intention to crush his skull too. This isn't like
Gotcha.
a warning shot. This is
No,
a death hit.
Figured that one.
Okay. Skirmish?
Uh,
Like I'm trying to literally break his skull. So like this.
I think wreck is. I mean, wreck a place, item, obstacle with savage force, carefully applied sabotage. I think that's wreck.
Okay.
Curb stomp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Curb stomp?
Yeah, that we would be there if
Okay,
he was
and so
down.
you're gonna get a. So this is your first roll, yes.
Well, this is my first like attack roll.
But you had another roll at risky.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so you're fine. So this is still risky standard. This is not really. This is happening as everything's going haywire.
Going to shit.
Yeah.
Can I push myself for an extra die?
You can absolutely push yourself. Also, make sure if you roll a desperate action to go ahead and mark an XP down,
I should do
so we don't forget those.
I leveled up, yay!
Once you get all your XP. All right. So yes, you can absolutely push yourself.
5, 3, 2, 5.
All right. So what happens is you succeed. So go ahead and you let's describe that. What happens to Vren as Vren's head is down looking at this fake document now?
Well, Vren, whom I very patiently did not kill at the very beginning because I was being nice, his brain effectively kind of bursts out of his skull as I whack it with the meat tenderizer and retrieve the deed. And as he like crumples to the ground, anything that I could grab that would be grotesque, I would, and like hold it in my hand like above.
We'll understand that. Okay.
There we go.
Yep. Got
That's
it.
where we're at.
I think the last thing that the camera would picture you stepping out from behind eyes, Vren's eyes going from the document to eyes, and then panning over to Miss Fritter, and then it's lights out. All right.
And see.
So yeah, and we're done with that. But you also hear from behind you. You hear shots that ring out in the night. And one is, because you got a 5, one is going to actually take a shot is going to ring out and hit you in the shoulder. So it's going to be level 2 harm. You can always resist.
Oh, we're resisting.
Okay. Or you have armor.
Oh, definitely have armor on.
Okay.
Definitely have armor. And I'm not sure exactly where this is on my sheet.
Armor?
Yes.
It's in items halfway down on the left. It's a 2-block thing. So what you can do is you have armor that you can do for 2, and if you take another hit and you still have 3 more open load spots, you can actually take an extended or heavy armor, which would take off another hit.
Okay.
But yep. Okay. So mark those 2, and then so the armor, these bullets ring out and seem to hit you a couple of times, but it doesn't penetrate the armor. They're pretty far away and they're not great shots. So, all right. So this is when it really goes haywire, and shots are starting to ring out. You definitely see people, Miss Corbin. You see people coming in from behind you. Looks like several people coming in behind you, and Slate turns around and tries to grab for Joseph and tries to taking him away. Or is trying to. That's the attempt. Who wants to go first?
Oh, can I go first?
Yeah, I was gonna say. I feel like you should. Yeah, because I feel like almost like you're going like last in this first round.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
Where is the deed?
It is on the ground with.
I picked it up.
Oh, did you pick it up?
Yeah, I picked it up.
I didn't know if you picked up that or various parts of Vren. So okay, so Miss
Okay, just make sure. Okay.
Miss Fritter has it in her tucked underneath her arm.
Okay, that's. She'll look at Slate. Like, you really should pay more attention to the theater. You do know how these things tend to end, right?
It appears that he is trying to make a play for Joseph and get Joseph out of there, and is not into theatrics at the moment.
Oh, she's yelling. She's just
I know. I know. So what would you like to do?
You should pay more attention if you're the main character or not, because most of these things end with a pyre.
That's awesome.
And I think you're on it. So I'll do a flashback.
Okay.
She will go to the Leviathan hunters.
Okay.
Me, one of the captains. We have tracked down one of the men who attempted to steal one of your books. Attempted to put one over on the Leviathan hunters. Maybe sell it to some nobles who would get in on your trade. We know how important you are to the city, to this country, to everyone around. So, how would you like to get back at those who tried to steal what's yours?
The captain, she looks at you and she says, absolutely. Mechanically, what are you looking for here?
I'm looking for people.
Okay.
Fighters.
Yep. All right. So I think this is what attribute are you using?
Consort.
Okay. Go ahead and roll it up.
I will, in good faith, I will spend the coin for that.
Okay. Are you increasing effect?
I'm increasing effect, and I'm going to take. Is this what kind of
This is controlled.
No. Okay. No.
Oh,
What kind of
sorry.
what level of flashback would this be?
Probably 2 stress because it takes time. Meet
Okay.
with them, find out who it is, meet with them, do all that kind of stuff. So 2 stress.
And I brought.
If you want to pay the 2 coin and avoid the 2 stress, that's an option as well.
Mm-hmm. And I'm bringing a fine bottle of whiskey for the captain.
Okay, that's fine. So we're up 2 levels.
Good old Ruvian stuff, hard to find. And so that's consort, and how many dice?
It's 2 extra.
2 extra. Can I take the 1 extra and then up the effect?
Absolutely.
Okay. And it's risky or
It's
desperate?
controlled. No,
Or
it's controlled. I mean, this
okay.
is just a conversation. You're giving them information.
Excellent. Okay. And what's the effect?
It's standard effect because they actually want to get back on them.
Okay. And bonus dice is 1.
So I will say this: if you succeed, because actually it's not standard effect, it's greater effect because you
Okay.
up the effect. So if you succeed, they will have enough guys to take care of both of the people on top of the roofs.
Mm-hmm.
That's greater effect, so it's a 5. With a 6, they also will have other people you can basically control, or a group that you can actually use to do whatever you want as well.
Okay.
It's greater effect.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
6. So at your call, whenever this happens, the camera would picture both sides of these buildings as lights flash where you saw gunshots ring out from before. Lights flash and lanterns clash. You hear the sounds of someone getting the tar beat out of them, and fall over, and kind of whistle down, and you know that the 2 groups on the roof have been taken care of, and then there's a couple of people down at the bottom who are basically waiting for you to tell them what to do. All right, who's next? We still have Slate, we still have Joseph, we still have the people in the back, we still may have others around.
So I'd like to, because one of the things we haven't talked about yet is the underground fountain thingy. So what I would like to do is to, because in my kind of searching for it, one of the things that I wanted to flashback around was around, having essentially, done the deed and kind of create our escape route for all of us. And, kind of after Miss Corbin does her badassery, essentially my plan is, and we can figure out how this will work, is to grab Joseph and kind of continue to get him the fuck out of there.
Okay. So mechanically, what do you want to happen?
So I think what would make some sense is, it is like one of the things that I would have found is like there's like maybe a small like trap door underneath nearby. And let's see, because one of the things we haven't done in a while is that building stuff that we did in the first mission. I'm trying to remember exactly what that piece of
maps,
like that load was.
The maps and passkeys?
Yeah, I think so. Something like that.
On your crew mode, you have underground maps and passkeys, which would allow, if you were to get down here, if you were to get underground, you can definitely make your way out.
Okay.
It's just getting there without everyone else on top of you.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Exactly.
So is this roll to find that trap door?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Slate is standing over your son, trying to pull him out.
Mm-hmm. Well, in that case, actually, I want to resolve that situation.
Do you think Eyes would do that, or would Eyes go after his son?
No, he would resolve the fact he's going after his son means that he's problem number one. So, all right. Well, let's actually do so. As he kind of is going after Joseph, I'm actually going to spin around behind him and take my. Doing this in front of Joseph is so bad. And I'm gonna kind of try to stab him in the back, like downwards, like through his like spinal cord.
Okay.
Jason, do you want to have had a previous conversation with Fritter where you don't kill anybody in front of your son? And that's like a facade that you want to maintain with him, that one of us will kill whomever and not you?
Yeah.
So let's say that this role is to separate out Slate from your son.
Mm-hmm. Right. Whatever that resolves,
and that could be pushing him off. Let's see how the roll goes. But this is the attempt. Cool. Is you have a sword in your hand, but you're like, oh my god! As you go to raise it, you look down at your son. You're like, can't do it. Can't do it.
Yep.
So let's roll something and figure out is that skirmish? Skirmish? Yeah, that's the actual word. Is it wreck? Prowl? It's close violence.
I think I still want it to be prowl, but instead of it being like a sword, I kind of want to like try to like smash it. An elbow in like the temple
use the pommel or use an elbow or something. Like you go to cut, you go to slice him. You're like, nope, can't do it.
Yeah.
All right, so let's roll that up. This is going to be risky and standard.
Okay. Here we fucking go.
And then Preacher, you're going to be next. What are you going to do?
6.
Okay.
You know what I'd like to try to do? The way my rolls are going tonight, I don't know if I can do it. I think I had talked earlier this week in Discord about a potential way to help tighten this situation up for us. So I would like to flashback, actually.
Okay.
And I'm going to go talk to my good friend Flint, the spirit trafficker.
Okay.
He was also very enamored with the spirit dogs that had at our track. And basically what I do is I want to set it up for him to locate them to this site.
Okay.
So when everything's going off, then we release the hounds.
Yep, absolutely.
Sort of deal, right? So how much do I pay 2 stress for that?
That's going to be a 2 stress. Yeah, if you have to go... So to me, if you just run and pick something up, it's 1 stress. If you got to go talk to someone and make plans, that's going to be 2 stress.
And I don't know if you need to role play that out exactly. I think
it's fine. Again, the vignette, the camera would even cut in, would just show you all talking and looking over at the dogs and understanding what's going to happen. At the same point in time, the sounds you would hear are suddenly dogs baying and growling and snarling as the lights come off. Let's go ahead and give that a roll. Are you attuning with the ghost to make the ghost work better with the hounds? What are you doing?
This is going to sound really fucking nuts.
I can't wait. With this group, I cannot wait. Okay, let's see what happens.
When does it not sound nuts?
Yeah,
Now,
yeah,
I know,
yeah.
right?
Preacher might not have the skills to command this many spirits at once, but Preacher also has a mask, a very powerful spirit mask that he offered himself to not too long ago.
True that.
So let's talk about that. So, what was it like for Preacher when you had Satara inside you? When her spirit was imprinted on your soul, what was it like?
You know, there was never a moment of doubt, never a moment of fear, of weakness, never a fear of second guessing yourself to what your actions might cause because, well, fuck the consequences, right? Anything I did was to always better my own situation. So that feeling was really the purest form of freedom you could possibly have, even if you had some sort of demon attached to your soul in the meantime that you had to answer to from, minor things, at least minor in my perception, because the benefits far outweighed everything else. But then you had to complicate things. I bring another person into my life. And then suddenly all the decisions and all the trespasses I made against everyone else seemed to not damage them so much as it ended up damaging, well, my family. So this moment of giving himself back to a power is a look over at Eyes right now, and it's just like mouthing the words, "Get your son out of here." And he just has this mask like trembling in his hands. And that baying of the hounds as they draw closer, and he just presses it to his face.
Okay. And what would you like to do?
Well, I guess we're going to attune, correct?
We're going to do something out of the rule book on this one.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
I'm gonna need a resistance.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna need a resistance in. It is absolutely resolve. Resist consequence from mental strain or willpower.
Okay.
You're gonna have to resist possession
Mm.
at this very moment by a
Fuck.
major entity.
Okay.
Eyes, at the same time, you see Preacher tell you to get your son and get out. You look down at your boy, and then you look down at Slate. And what happens to Slate as your blow actually lands?
Yeah.
And Preacher, go ahead.
Does the blow to the temple dislodge his mask?
Sure.
Is he still conscious?
He is. I think he is falling back. He like tilts. You hit him and he tilts forward, tries to catch his mask and like trips a little bit, and then stumbles back and is going to fall off the dais where you all just were.
Okay. Okay. So I'll lean over. And what does his face look like?
What does his face look like?
Ah, touche. So I imagine him as a super kind of burly looking guy, but he's kind of got this like I begin to see the front end of this like brown kind of mop ponytail.
Yep.
Kind of, and he's got what now appears to be a large little lump growing, and late 20s. It's got kind of this like scar on his on his left side, or left in front of his left eye, and kind of a pretty nasty looking goatee.
Yeah, very self-assured though.
Oh, good. You won't know when. But before your light goes out, you'll know it was me. And I run and I grab my son.
Okay. So as you go, maybe you push him back. He tilts forward. You put your hand on him and you flip him back and basically flip him off the side of the dais, and he goes flying. All right. So, preacher. And then the camera pans back from Slate falling straight on his back, pans up to you now as preacher looks up into the sky with this mask. And remind us at home, what does the mask look like?
It's pale fleshed. It's got the mouth where it's torn and stitched on the sides, like the maw had opened too far at one point. Blank eyes currently. It just looks leathery and almost like dried flesh.
Yeah, I hate it the second time too.
Pretty horrifying little mask.
All right, yeah, hated that. All right, so we're going to do resistance against possession.
You're going to hate it if I have to describe what happens when I put it on then, too.
No, I know.
Okay.
Not necessarily with your rolls tonight.
That's
Damn!
Very, very true.
Shots fired.
The thing is if I fail the roll, that's when stuff's going to happen. So.
Yeah, this could get bad.
So you're only encouraging it, Hannah.
Guys, see, like, you took my comments all wrong.
So I should succeed then. Right, okay. Against resolve, you said?
Yes, resolve.
Okay. Okay.
6. So
You're able
to resist. Yep, you're able to resist that feeling. It's like the highest high. It is freedom. It is power. It is knowledge at your call. It is everything you've missed. Every time that you failed to do something that you wanted to do, you knew you could have done it if you only had Sitara's help. And now you have that help again. But you also know in the back of your mind that comes with a price, and you haven't discussed price with this person, with this entity. So you're able to like use it and shut it off, knowing that there will be a price. Okay, so what do you want to do?
So I imagine this mask gets pressed in, and like there's that moment of like fighting back and forth on it. Even like a physical change to Preacher. Sort of like at the flesh beginning to part himself it becomes part of the mask. His eyes glazing over yellow with like rimmed in red, and maybe like this like wiry hair just sprouting from the back of his head, and just this back and forth and tearing of flesh and screams as this struggle goes on. And eventually he just raises his hands up and says in the most demonic voice possible, I guess, that I can muster, just, "Feed my pets."
It was awesome.
So he's going to be sending these animals on a ravenous rampage against our foes.
Okay. So I think the baying that you heard earlier goes 2 levels up from what it was. If it was angry barks and howls, it is now ravenous. Just ravenous anger and malevolence, all in animal form. And they seem to get bigger, or the shadows get deeper around these hounds. All right, so let's make a roll of some kind with this, what they do.
Okay.
I don't know what that is going to be. I think it could be attune, because you're basically attuned into them now using the hounds, and then Miss Fritter, you're going to be next.
I'm very happy with the tune.
Okay.
Can I push it?
You tell me. You want to do it? Go for it.
Well, I just didn't know because I just had all this flashback stuff.
No, I think that's mechanically you want to push for the roll. I think that's still fine. I just tried to mess you over and it didn't do anything. So why wouldn't you? I'll go ahead and let you get your stress some other way.
Right? Okay. All right. 1 bonus die on that. Hey,
6. So this So these hounds, it was going to be risky. Standard actually moves up because the hounds, because of the mask. I should have told you that to greater, so you get a 6 on greater. So they are effectively dealing with these people that are behind you, and you see a few like flank out and start to hunt even inside and around the buildings.
That's exactly what I wanted.
Okay. Miss Fritter? Slade is standing in front of you. You also see probably there's some randoms around you, maybe that they're kind of coming in your way, that are coming towards you, towards Slate. Some looks like just thugs some hired goons that he's brought in from the other direction. What would you like to do?
So he's in front of me.
He is yes, he has actually fallen. So
he's fallen to be in front of me.
Yes.
At this point.
Yes.
Do they have cannon fodder written right here?
He did.
And he has goons that are coming.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The boy's safe, as far as I know.
You know that Eyes is the only one that you all have seen up on the dais with Joseph. So to you, the boy is safe.
Then we attack.
Okay. So as you're attacking, maybe there's an extra little oomph in your step, a little hitch, and little extra giddy up because of your latest discussion, your latest discussion with Lissa. What happened? What went bad with Lissa? You all hinted that you had a past. What from Fritter's side? What was it?
Fritter had cared for Lissa somewhat. Parents weren't that great. They kind of ran off, and Fritter made sure she was clothed and fed and her normal thing. But Lissa externalized all of her frustration and pain onto other children who were in similar situations, causing all kinds of chaos and malevolent bullshit. And before Fritter could intervene, several children killed themselves as a result of her bullying. And Fritter cast her out and told her she had to leave. That's how we know her.
Yeah.
But this kid, this guy,
yep,
this man, he's gonna get a pair of knitting needles to the eyes.
Okay.
Sorry, Nate. I always feel like I need to tell you the random shit I'm gonna do.
But yep. Just a little just a hate. Okay. All right.
This
so you
is
drop.
a sign. This is gonna be the remnant of what's left here.
Okay.
Is his corpse at the base of whatever the fuck this is.
Yeah, a friendship fountain.
Yeah, a friendship fountain with the knitting needles sticking out of his face. So that's just going to be an attack, face attack.
Yep. Wrecking it, face attack.
And risky standard.
It's risky standard. He's actually on the ground, so it's it's risky. You see him fumbling even now for something in his pockets to throw or have or do something. So he's trying to wriggle out.
We welcome his attack. I got a 6.
Okay. I think the camera shows him, you standing over him, dropping the cleaver, reaching around to your side to pull out the knitting needles, and his hand fumbles for something, looks like maybe some kind of powder he's going to try to throw at you. But before he can, your foot lands on his chest, and then the camera goes black as the 2 needles start to stab toward the camera.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Are we okay to leave it at that?
That's perfect.
All right. Miss Corbin? It looks like things are in control. There's a couple of random guards that I'm going to actually make a fortune roll to see if they even stay or not. Goons that are kind of flitting around. What would you like to do?
She's basically just been standing in place the entire time, and she just yells to the remainder of the Leviathan hunters, and probably to some of the race. Show them that you will not be trifled with any further. Show the rest of them, all the crows in the sky, all the storm crows shall fly high and fly many.
All right. So what are you rolling for this? Is that
this-
is it a sway, a command?
I think it's a command.
Okay. Absolutely.
I'll push.
Okay.
Risky.
Yes, risky and standard. That's fine. Six. So yeah, as these words ring out, you see the people that you had the dock hands. There's people that are basically just within, kind of coming out to see what's going on, and seeing you all get attacked, and knowing the race, knowing the goons from one of the other minor gangs that are hired out. They kind of start pushing and beating them up, and I see the camera like spinning around Miss Corbin to show you're truly in the center of everything that is going around. And the flashback comes back to Miss Corbin leading groups like this, leading actions, leading long cons and things like that. So a question I have for Miss Corbin is did Miss Corbin get into Charter Hall through a con of some kind, or did you earn it? Was that your first con, or did you work hard to earn it and use your cons as the side?
Oh, she used her con to get in there, of course.
And how was that?
It's probably similar how she got her doctor friend. Find ones that had weaknesses, debts, exploit that. Make sure that they weren't fed to the people they owed. Appear to be friend, rope them in, and then they're hers. And she continues her little masquerade to actually get an education through these people.
Absolutely. And I think as you look around you, that analytical part of your brain, that analytical part of your brain that knows people's weaknesses, knows people's strengths, knows how to use them against them. You look at your own internal team and see the weaknesses they're showing, their strengths they're showing, the things that they're doing, and understand where they could get hit and used, just like the people you used to use.
Mm-hmm.
That's something definitely going through your mind.
She is also smiling. This is as happy as any of her crew has ever seen her.
Absolutely.
Just going around. She'll walk to by Miss Fritter and our friend Slate. She's holding the mask. It's a pity he didn't even know he wasn't a part of the equation at all. And she'll put the mask eyes over the knitting needles. Well, now they know.
And I think within a few moments, the dogs seem to be kind of, because Preacher still has control of them or is still talking with the spirits. The dogs bound obediently, some with red maws, some with red claws, some with bruises and bumps and things like that, but all still in good shape, run back to Flint and sit all quietly in front of him as he loops a leash around all of them. There's some other people that get run off and beat up, or just kind of do that chase scene thing where random people that were paid to look like they're tough that actually weren't run away. What is the group doing now? An eerie quiet seems to have fallen this area, as now people realize, oh, maybe we don't want to be a part of this, and start to scatter. But your group remains standing in the middle.
Is your boy all right?
I'm kneeled down, kind of hands on shoulders, kind of foreheads kind of touching, and there's a bit of tears are kind of coming down. and like he's so far away mentally right now from Miss Fritta's query because he is right here for the first time, and he can't believe it. I don't even know if I want to like lie to you and tell you and ask you if that was like fun and twist it. You're old enough to realize that this was something serious. Are you okay?
He says, yeah, they weren't mean to me or anything. They weren't nice to me either. But they told me that you were gonna come, and if I behaved, that you would give you back to your mom or somebody, and then I get to go home. Um, am I going back home with mom, or am I going with you?
There's a very, very, very long pause when we talk about that. But for now, I can show you around a little bit. There's a couple things that Dad's been doing. Dad's a businessman now.
I think he takes your hand and says, I'd like to see both you and mom, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's we're overdue for some swing sets. How's that sound?
Yep. All right. So you get a little time to spend. Preacher, what are you doing? You now have the mask. You've been able to control the pups to get them back where they belong. The mask is, you can take it off if you want. You pass the resistance, you're good to go. What's coursing through your brain? What's going on?
Honestly, I think Preacher would probably be in that mix of euphoria, almost like a drug, and hands like raising and lowering. Do I not take it off? Do I take it off? And finally, you know what? Honestly, looking over at the group, it finally just takes a long sigh and reaches up and begins to peel it off. It doesn't even so much like it just comes off. He has to peel it off his flesh. So like these like strains of like almost like gore as they pulls free from his face. Just snaps free finally. I think we sent quite the message through Hellfire today.
I don't think there's any doubt of that. Although we should probably leave. The crows will be coming soon. You'll look up if they're not here already.
Yeah, even now you start to see you hear the ringing. Now that it's gone quiet, you start to hear the ringing of a bell in the background, and there start to be Deathseeker crows starting to do big looping circles around you all, and you know that the spirit wardens are on their way.
Well, if another day they're not coming for us. They're not coming for Joseph. That's most important.
Suppose so, but this will be quite the message for the other race, even if they exist further.
As far as I'm concerned, Miss Corbin, ain't no wraith gonna be free of any of our wrath so long as they inhabit the city of Duskfall.
That's what I like to hear. But as much as I'd like to push my luck, the spirit wardens, and that mask especially, should be scarce.
Let's go.
And
So where do we?
I would say like Preacher even has like a different like stance to him and a walk to him. I'm sort of still like enveloped in this role, this euphoria that still washes over him. He just sort of smiles. Yeah. Very cool, very calm, collected. Just slowly putting the mask deep inside of his pocket of his jacket. He wanders over and pets Joseph on the head. Let's get out of here, boy.
So I think, Eyes, you're able to find the underground passage leading out from the tunnel, even as you hear the spirit wardens come in.
Yep.
And the camera, unless someone tells me different, anybody else want to do anything while we're here? Want to offer? No. The camera shows the trapdoor slowly lie down, about at the same time that the spirit wardens start to pour into this area, and a Death Seeker crow actually lands on top of the trapdoor and just sits there and squawks a couple times. And that's where this score will end for the evening. Once again, really, really good rolls. We had some bad rolls, but even those made, they didn't affect the fiction of what they were trying to do. This group is able to roll well when it matters and roll a bunch of sixes. As I look through here, there's a bunch of sixes and there's not too many complications. So once again, a score goes through with good planning, with good use of flashbacks. And I guess I need to start upping how hard I'm going to make these, because this is a couple times in a row where I thought it might be tough, and they took care of it all.
It was still tough. I was like freaking out over here, man.
I think it's definitely one of those things that if one thing turns, then it goes quickly the other way.
Yeah.
If Preacher gets consumed,
flashbacks
or
clutch.
The flashbacks, the other things, yeah.
Yeah, because we went from super outnumbered to having the numbers really on our side.
That was my desperation tonight.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, again, thank you all for showing up, for watching, and for this group. I'm Nathan. I've been your narrator. I use he, him pronouns. You can find me at Not Another Nate on Twitter, also on Discords and things like that. Yelaz, can't wait to hear your thoughts on the game, on how it's going and what's happening, and what the future holds for this group. Who would like to go next?
I'll go next because I'm just like fucking flabbergasted and need to output before I lose my mind. So everybody, Jacob here, Duval King Jacob on the internet, which is new now because I launched my Twitch channel today. Played a little Chrono Trigger. I'll play kind of an every Wednesday thing before coming over here and playing dad. Holy shit, I can't believe that worked. So you can also find me typically on Tuesday nights on Geek Attack at twitch.tv/Thread Raiders at 9:30 Eastern Time. Saturdays also on Thread Raiders at 3 o'clock Eastern Time with a little bit of Icewind Dale, both D&D 5e games. And also, speaking of 5e, Duval and Dragons every other Sunday. That's my DM. That's my game I DM, and that'll be this Sunday. What else am I missing? Play a little Call of Cthulhu over on I think on Thread Raiders on Friday night too, so check that out as well. Christ on a cracker. Let's see. Hannah, why don't you go next?
I'm Hannah. You can find me on Twitter at Stop That Old Woman. I play this Blades in the Dark game and Saturday night's Star Wars game, also on this channel. And that's about all I do. And I'll pass it over to Miss Corbin / Shauna.
Oh man, that was a hell of a thing. It's a rush, but
wow. Dude,
that was
not sleeping.
Nathan,
tonight.
that was great. That was so much fun. Everyone here, that was so much fun. But I am Shauna Flanksters on Twitter, Instagram, where I have my art and the games, including on Saturdays at 1 p.m. on Level Up Dice. It's Rise of the New Gods, a Scion game where we all of our fledgling godlings met their parents, and mine went a little rocky as that can be. My Lokatsuna girl was not incredibly happy with meeting her long missing father. And on Mondays on Encounter Roleplay, it's For the North, a Song Ice Fire game, where I was given a boy that likes me, and I am terrified because everything's going so well, and I am scared to death.
Awesome.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
All right, and Saevrick?
Okay, so make sure I didn't want to interrupt anybody. Hi, I've been Saevrick or Josh. I've been your player. I've been your best friend this evening. Let's see, we have this going on right now every Wednesday, and That's at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. In case you're over there on the YouTubes watching this and you'd like to come catch a live game, maybe you might try to stop by sometime. Otherwise, let's see, we got Saturdays, we have D20 Star Wars with Hannah over there and myself. That's 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Saturdays, like I said. It's supposed to be weekly, but it's been bi-weekly every time we've tried to run it because something's come up, but that is what it is. And see, sometime in the first quarter of the new year, I am going to be looking for a cast for a Planescape game. It's going to be a 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons, so keep an eye out on that. Otherwise, I think that's everything I got right now. If you go to my Twitter, on my profile, you can download free games, or like Cheddar Off Dead, which is the Honey Heist hack that's set in Sigil, where you play cranium rats trying to steal cheese. It's a fun game. You can go check that out. Or my itch.io. I say it weird every time, and Hannah never lets me get away with it. But you can go there. I have a game published currently, so but you can download it for free if you want to. I don't give a shit if you want to pay for it or not. Otherwise, that's all I have. You guys have anything to say before we call it a night?
How did that work?
No idea.
Which part?
Oh my
Oh,
god.
yes.
Yes.
Amazing. Well done, everybody.
All right.
All right.
Much love.
All right, so we will catch you all next Wednesday. One more game. We'll be in some downtime. Always love downtime. Always
Oh my God.
play.
Oh
It's
my
like-
God. The Darlene, Joseph, and I's conversation. It's about time. Oh,
Can't
fuck.
wait for that. So
Uh-huh.
we'll see you next time. Take care.
Has some heat. No, it's not.
Yeah.